the Marvel superhero who has had the best saga so far since Guardians of the Galaxy. Can't leave out Guardians. And you have asked for it, and I have now delivered. We will now debate which was the best saga. The Christopher Nolan Batman saga or the Captain America saga. Let's get into it right now. Now, with all things considered, the Dark Knight series with Batman Begins. Batman Begins was one of the probably best single performance without like any superpowers, or just as a regular movie. Batman Begins was raw. Everything they showed you in that movie was exactly what they were afraid to show you in comic book movies. They was afraid to take that risk. But it was actually Daredevil that actually opened the door for them to do Batman Begins. Daredevil was so raw. Daredevil was so raw and it was so good. People hated it because they were mad at Ben Affleck for something, so they hated on the movie, but the movie was outstanding. And it was dark. And it was the first superhero movie that was that dark since the original Punisher with Dolph Lundgren. So it showed people that there was a market for them to still be dark and still make money. So Batman Begins was grimy. More realistic than watching any other Batman you've ever seen before. So for them to take the risk to start Batman Begins, they didn't put a lot of money behind it. But when people got to saw the new Batmobile with the tumbler and everything else, it opened up the door to the comic book Batman fans who were really intrigued. And it crossed over to people that just like movies. Batman Begins, if you just took Batman out of it, it would still be a great movie. Plus, some of the greatest scenes that ever been filmed in a Batman movie was done in Batman Begins, as him as Batman. When he goes in the building and he summons the bats to come, and they just come when he hits the button, and all them bats show up. That whole scene was the sickest Batman scene in any Batman movie. There has never been a scene like that. And it was perfect. So, man. Christopher Nolan has always been about sound. If you listen to the sound of all his films, listen to Batman Begins, then The Dark Knight, how The Dark Knight was. The Dark Knight, the music score, the sound, it makes you feel alive, like you're right in there. Even Dunkirk, when you hear those guns go off, boom! Boom, 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 boom. You feel like you right on the field. So when you saw the Joker and you saw Heath Ledger's performance and how he played the Joker, that spearheaded and took it to a whole nother level. But it was the darkness of it. Like I told you, T, who was my boy, and he loves Batman. And when he saw they were making a new Batman with the Joker, he was upset because he liked the one with Jack, from the other saga. And he felt they shouldn't have made another Joker. But then once I told him, I'm like, no, dude, this is unlike anything you've seen. This is another dimension. Right, this was more gritty. This was more grounded. It wasn't. There's gonna be no colors, no spray painting, red and green everywhere. There's no Prince songs. This is this is griminess at its finest. And it told a story that was behind the Joker all along. He was complete chaos and a pyromaniac. He loved fires. Each Joker brought something different about the Joker to the table. The first Joker was just a homicidal maniac who liked to kill. That was Jack Nicholson. He was just turned himself into a homicidal maniac. I'm the first homicidal artist. This Joker, he just wanted to see the world burn. It was the metaphor behind him. Some men just want to see the world burn. And he liked to burn things and blow things up. To see it burn, to add chaos, anarchy. The iPhone YouTube app finally got Super Chat. Then why is it saying $1.99 and then nothing's posted? I don't even know what that means, Lex. I'm looking at it say $1.99 too and still can't understand it. Now, oh, it just said $1.99 right there. I didn't know what it said, what it came through. It doesn't. Normally, it comes up on my screen. It shows who did something. I don't know where it went. As of right now, it's not showing up. So I'm gonna just thank you in advance, Lex. I'm glad iPhone has finally fixed their donation. Now, going into this saga, the first Captain America was great. Now, the first Captain America was outstanding, but people felt it lacked with the addition of Red Skull. I thought Red Skull was great as a character. It was more in depth. It was also about the war. A real war that actually took place. And they were able to insert Captain America in that war. And the whole Captain America, they were using him to make the troops feel good rather than sending him into battle. And then Hydra ended up getting in there, mixing it up with the Nazis, and how the Nazis was Hydra, and how they just switched things around. They took Hitler out and took over, and it was very well strategically done, keeping it with current events. Plus, it wasn't always about superpowers, and it was about the Tesseract. We got introduced into that in the first levels of us starting to understand what was going on here with it and its technology and everything around what was finna be built towards with Captain America. Now, here's going back to, so if we rank them movie by movie, that's hard to say. I like Batman Begins, but I'm gonna go with Captain America for the first one. I'm gonna go with Cap. If we're going one by one, I'm gonna have to go with Cap on that one. It's tough. Now, The Dark Knight with the Joker in there. And like I said, this Joker's different. And the way it kicked off and the way everybody jumped in, the way everything was going down in The Dark Knight, the way it was so smartly done. The opening scene with the bank. Are you kidding me? The opening bank scene, the introduction into the Joker. That's total Christopher Nolan. It's total perfection the way it was done. The dialogue. Everything, the remarks that were made, they were excellent and delivered well. No, I killed the bus driver. Shot here in Chicago, Illinois, mostly on Wacker Drive. I remember them shutting down everything, filming it. They had Gotham cabs. They had everything out there. Oh. I know why you have secret meetings in the daytime, because he comes out in the night. You have to face the real problem. It's the Batman. You've changed things. He was great. He was so great. No, Michael Jai, what's his name, was in that? Michael J. White, who played Gamble. Enough with the clown. I'm gonna make this knife disappear. Boom! Ta-da! Gone. Yeah, he was teaching people, and that was the only reason he was doing it. He hated control. He hated structure. He wanted to introduce anarchy, and he wanted to show the people how pathetic their attempts to try to control people were. So that's all he wanted to do. He had no plans. He had nothing. Money didn't motivate him. He wasn't motivated by greed and none of this stuff. All you care about is money. This is only my half. It's my money. Joker didn't care about any of these things, and that's what Alfred was trying to introduce to him. In the beginning, he was basically telling you the story of the Joker when he was telling that story that he went through with this guy. He was like, the guy never traded any of them. He stole all these gems just to be stealing them. We tried to locate him, and he was like, he never traded with anybody. He just did it just to do it. Would you like to know which one of your friends were cowards? Everything he did was so smart, getting himself transferred or captured so that he can go into the prison system, so he can get Lau out of there because he knew somebody was hiding him in the police department. Everything burns. Yeah, he was great. He was great as a villain, but where it lacked was the actual combat between him and Batman. As great as the movie was and as great as a villain he was, oh, it finally showed up. $1.99 actually showed up now. So now it's 3.9. Cephas came through with $2. I appreciate that. I guess iPhone does the 99 cents. Like, I guess they take 1 penny from y'all to do it. See, Android just let you go ahead and donate the whole $2. They don't do this cent stuff. Yeah. Yeah, they're taking a penny off everything you do. So after this process, it goes on and develops into something else. The movie takes a whole nother level, but it lacked with the actual villain to fight. Because Batman is so powerful over the Joker. Joker can't fight Batman. That the actual fight scene in that movie is what hurt The Dark Knight. But it was so great of a movie, it survived that. Now, we move on to The Winter Soldier. Oh my God, The Winter Soldier. The Winter Soldier was so good. It's very great storyline. The fight scenes, the action scenes, the introduction of Bucky as the Winter Soldier. You had somebody who could challenge Cap. The actual fight scenes, them going back and forth. That's what it was all about. And it's a tough one because they had it right. The Winter Soldier, the storyline was great. The development of what Captain America was going through, it introduced Falcon in the right way. How he ended up was Captain America's trying to get used and adapted to being in New Earth. He's been frozen in ice for about 60 something years. Frozen in ice. So now that he's out of ice and he's been unfrozen, this process has been going on. And while he's getting adjusted, and dealing with things, the fight scenes the action scenes were so very well choreographed. It made the Winter Soldier saga even better. But I'm going to choose the Dark Knight. I'm going to choose the Dark Knight in that one. You're right. There are more kid-friendly. The Captain America saga made more money than the Batman saga. It had some surprises in it, but I don't think it was like massive surprises. Like Nick Fury, I didn't see him coming back at the end. You know, I thought that was just it for Nick Fury. So I will put the Dark Knight in that category. Now they're 1-1, and we're going into this final battle. The Dark Knight Rises. The end of the Nolan saga for Batman. Now, what we learned from this is that he was never Batman again since the night of the Joker, when he injured his knee fighting Two-Face. He was never Batman again. So he had the knee injury, and he basically wasn't seen since that night. He was, dubbed as the killer. Crime was way down. The police were able to take over the streets, and there was really no need for Batman to come out and do what he did anymore. And Batman was brought back out and seeked out when Catwoman came and took the pearls. And I felt she was a great Selena Kyle. They had the perfect person to play her. She did a great job. The music, everything. Every time Catwoman came, they had the high piano sound. And the introduction into Bane. Christopher Nolan does it once again with his outstanding introductions into characters for the saga, the whole plane takeover, which was very difficult to film. Y'all don't even know you're going like 20,000 miles an hour and you're filming an action scene in the actual space, like in the air. They actually did this in the air. This wasn't all CGI. This was really done in a plane. Hijacking a plane in midair. Whoa. Why would you shoot the man before you throw him off of the plane? What will happen if I remove the mask? I'm afraid it'll be very painful. You're a big boy. You can take it. For you. This is a very underrated Batman. Absolutely. Because, see, fans went in there believing that he needed to be in the suit all the time. He didn't need to be in the suit all the time. He only needed to be Batman when he needed to be Batman. And that's all I needed to see. So I'm like, he gave you more than enough. This movie was, in my opinion, watching this Batman Rises, to me, is a better film than The Dark Knight. It's hard to pick. It's hard to pick. Believe me, it's hard to pick. But I have to go with The Dark Knight Rises. And this is, of course, I love Bane character. This is the first character Batman has faced in all of the sagas that was his equal. That in fighting and all that, he could beat Ra's al Ghul. This is the only guy who physically could beat Batman's ass. And he ain't need no help. He ain't afraid of Batman and none of that. Theatricality and deception. Powerful agents for those who are not inebriated. But we are both inebriated, aren't we, Bruce? As the League of Shadows. I shall fulfill Ra's al Ghul's destiny. Yeah, you fight like young man. Nothing held back. Admirable, but mistaken. Oh man, I loved it. You think darkness is your ally. You just inherit the dark. Me, I was born in it. Molded in it. I didn't see the sunlight until I was a man. And by then, to me, all it was blindness. The shadows betray you because they belong to me. Man, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Listen, there's no way. You're a madman, as communicated. Babe, you're failed. I love Captain America. I love everything about the Civil War.
Till he put his brain back in a blender. He wanted you to know something. He said to me, please tell Rogers, when you gotta go, you gotta go.
These people showed you that they're ready for change. They're ready to believe in good. What's your game plan? Full out assault on Bane. I must break you. I was wondering what would break first. Your spirit or your body. So now, Civil War jumps off. And with Civil War, you're in a whole different spot. Because Civil War is a gallant of talent in the film.
They say
but more than less, Captain America is not really the biggest part of the film. As great as this film was, this was more Captain America, an Iron Man. This was an Iron Man movie for the most part. It was a Black Panther movie for some part. Then it became a little bit about Cap. See, that was the thing about Civil War. It really captivated Iron Man and Captain America together. Then the battle in the end was basically all we were building up to the show, which paid off, but it was a whole host of a lot of characters. This felt like an Avenger movie. So even though I love Civil War and loved how they built everything, it wasn't the same as it was with, because you got so many characters to try to bring in. It was just so kind of dumb how they used the Winter Soldier and the guy. He was the only bad part about it, was the weak villain who was manipulating all of this stuff to happen. It's like you don't even need him, but they needed somebody to try to make a reason for why Iron Man and Captain America, when they had the reason with the Accords. The Accords was enough. You didn't need this one guy to come cause this wave to where each side would fight each other. So you had to have one side that was right and one side that's wrong. And they just don't know they're wrong. And Captain America's right because he knows what's going on. And they don't know. They're not listening to Cap. So you don't make it a right and wrong situation. I mean, they make it a right and wrong situation rather than both sides feel that they're right. And just made it about the Accords and leave it as being smart. Nope. We gotta have this dumb guy from Russia or whatever. I'm mad because my family got killed and I blame all the Avengers. Now I'm going to cause them to turn on each other by making Bucky say a code in Russia and make him turn to the Winter Soldier and blame him for setting a bomb. And now they're gonna know our pain. Now everybody wants to kill Barnes. And I'm going to show them a VHS tape, which I could have showed them in the first 5 minutes, and then they could be fighting each other. So, it was kind of dumb. Zemo is a classic villain in the comics. He's not a classic villain in this movie. He was just a dummy. Now, one thing Civil War was boring. That's something it never was. It was so much action in the movie that a lot of people were like, my goodness, they ain't even got to the main fight yet. It was so much going on. The Black Panther scene, they had to go get Bucky. The beginning when they was fighting the other character, I forgot his name. What was his name? The one with the armor, the one from Winter Soldier. They came back around and finished this story out in the beginning. It was nothing but action. Crossbones, yeah, there you go, Crossbones. So they got Crossbones out of there quick and early, and that was it. He was gone. He didn't need Crossbones, and that was good. Now this Zemo character that they brought in, everybody in the comic book world was happy to see Zemo's name that was going to be in it, but they used him as a dummy to set this thing up with the Winter Soldiers that turned out to be a bunch of nothing. I liked it better when they had the other Winter Soldiers. I would have loved it if they got to fight the other Winter Soldiers. You think I want more of you? I just killed all of them. I'm like, well, that was dumb. You brought them here so they could watch a VHS tape? You could have sent them that VHS tape. You could have mailed that to Tony Stark's, put it in the mail, sent it FedEx, and this whole thing would have been kicked off. They would have really turned on each other. Well, I know comics can go the full metal jacket, because the Civil War was really started by those people rebelling against the superheroes who was out there doing reality shows with camcorders, recording themselves, saving people. Then one of these persons tried to save somebody, and next thing you know, a whole school full of kids got killed. And that's when everybody said, okay, we got to start these Accords and get all this stuff going with all the new warriors and all these other people coming in out of the blue. Back then, people could die like Captain America and somebody else would pick up the mantle and keep going. So here in the movie worlds, you just can't kill Captain America. It's just, we don't know if that's going to happen in the Infinity War. But we'll have to see. And then with Black Panther, what happened there, we'll still have to see. But because now they're saying Bucky was a white wolf. Will he be the white wolf? Yeah, that guy who blew himself up. Cause see, the thing is, they thought they were good until they ran into some people with some high level power, and then they they screwed up everything, and they caused all this stuff to go down with these accords and all that when them kids got killed in the comic books. See, the comic books is a lot more explanatory than these movies are. They just take certain characters and put them in, and because they don't have certain rights to characters, they gotta write other people coming in to do the jobs that another character would do. Yeah, they screwed the dark side thing up for Justice League. When you had Justice League, you to me you can't do that without showing dark side. If you don't show dark side, what have you done? Now they backing away from that because they lost a fortune on Justice League. It didn't do $1 billion, which they were looking at $1 billion. They did 400 million less than what they thought they were gonna do. That's DC for you. Well, that's problem is Warner Brothers. Because Warner Brothers was such a big giant without DC. You see, that was the thing. They're a big giant without them. They're the hardest people to get to approve something. Like getting them to approve Suicide Squad was amazing. And Suicide Squad to me visually was incredible. I liked the music, I liked the way it looked, everything. Some of the writing was funny, and I'm like, I like the movie. It just deceived people. So when people didn't, they thought they were going to be seeing the Joker, and now in hindsight they realize, like, man, I really should have made the Joker the main villain instead of this woman doing this light show. To which I thought it was a great idea having somebody that was supposed to be on the team end up being the villain in the end. I thought that was clever because you're already marketing her as one of the characters of the Suicide Squad, and no one will be able to guess. They already know she's going to be in the movie, you know what she looks like. They have no idea she's going to be the villain, which was genius. But no, they ran into a problem with not knowing what to do. Like, one guy cost so much in CGI that big when she brought her brother in, who I thought, okay, though, this is going to be our villain. She brought this brother in, and both of them, they required too much CGI. And it's like kind of hard to explain how Harley Quinn with a baseball bat and a knife is going to be fighting some guy that can just throw power out his hand and knock stuff around. And you know, the rest of these guys, you can understand how they're there. They got some type of power or some type of thing they could do. But Harley Quinn is like one of the star characters in there, and she's spending time mostly with the Suicide Squad. Then she's spending with the Joker, and you advertise in your promotion the Joker and Harley Quinn, the Joker and Harley Quinn. I'm like, how could you screw that up? So, even though it's a great movie, I gave it 3 stars out of 4. But for Suicide Squad, it just left a bad taste in the mouth for the people, the fans who thought they were going to be seeing more of the Joker. So now they're doing Suicide Squad 2. And I'm thinking they're going to fix everything. A lot of people's like, why is Harley Quinn spilling, she all up on Will Smith? I thought the Joker was her man. I said, well, it was. That is how it was set up, but that's different because in the comic book, she has a thing for what's his name, Deadshot too. Right. In the comics, they was together. She had a thing for him. That's why in the movie they kind of put that incorporated with each other. The problem is when they did the Justice League and they really didn't let Batman develop yet. Let us get Affleck. Affleck was a great Batman. He did not do bad as Batman at all. It's just that in Suicide Squad they made him like one of the gang, like one of the characters. And they never let his arc really develop. And then when you have somebody come in and they just say, well, we're going to just remake certain scenes, it kills the movie because certain scenes are set up for a reason. I think if they had put out the other version of the movie, it would probably do 10 times better than what they put on the screen. Because sometimes you got two scenes doing the same thing. At the end, they got the race with Flash and Superman. I'm like, you just did that in the movie. So what is the big deal about them doing it now? In the movie, it made more sense. At the end, that just wouldn't be something Superman would be interested in. To see who's the fastest. He could care less. You see, so that it goes against Superman's character to do something just to see who's the fastest. It, like that, he would have no reason in doing this. No, they raced in the comics, they raced in the cartoons. It was always known that they did that. But when they were saving the people, and they were basically doing the race then too. And when Superman caught up to him and said, Slowpoke, he was like, hey, Slowpoke. The actor who plays Cyborg was horrible? I don't think so. You got to remember, this is kind of the origin of Cyborg. You got to understand, he's just getting his powers. And he's just learning how to work and maintain his suit. They showed this to the media, like, when they got to see, like, the test pilot, and the people spoke about what was there and what wasn't there. Everybody said they saw Darkseid. And in this day and age, what DC is going to want to do is hold on as long as they can before they put out the Justice League and put out the Zack Snyder version. He had more screen time. They cut out his screen time. J.K. Simmons had more screen time than that. There are scenes that they cut out to blend in a whole nother scene. But there was another scene when they came out there, they were talking about Superman and bringing him back. And J.K. Simmons was there. They cut all that out. Yeah, that's the way the Flash used to run. The way he was swinging his arms like that in the suit, like he was generating the energy as he was running. Thanks, B. I appreciate it. Nothing much working. That was a dope scene when they did that. Well, the whole message was that whole fight scene was different. When the thing of the whole moral was not really the mother boxes. They wanted to use the mother boxes not for this whole little purple thing that was just going around the earth. The mother boxes was to bring Superman back to life. They wanted to bring Superman back as a weapon, and they wanted to use the mother boxes to bring him back, to get back to their side. They were going to use that to restart life again with Superman. You got to remember, Superman has all these. That's what really brought him back to life, because Superman had all these other cells in him. When they put the whole orb, like all the, when he was born, that's why Superman was so special than any other Krypton there was, Kryptonian. All of his cells had all of the life forms, or the life spirit and all the souls from Krypton, from that little core that they put inside of him, in his body. That's why Superman was able to come back to life. And that's why the thing was floating at the end. He didn't need anything with mother boxes to bring him back to life. Superman has so many lives in him, in his entire body, that he can come back. But if he dies, it affects his personality. His personality changes because that part of him is dead. Another part has to take its place. So that's how you got dark and evil Superman when he had on the suit. And he was going to be Dark Superman. We were going to see Dark Superman until he has to remember who he was. This is why you destroy all the work you built when you had the first Superman when they did Man of Steel. You changed the direction of Superman. Now oh, okay. Harley Quinn is going to be, we're going to see her in the new Suicide Squad, which is going to feature a lot of her and Joker. They're going to get it right this time. But Harley Quinn is going to be on the Gotham TV show. Absolutely, I believe that you'll see Harley Quinn eventually. And we probably have already seen her. Like, a lot of people think Barbara Keene is going to be, she's going to wind up being Harley Quinn. But that's not the case. Well, here's the thing. Superman has killed before. Superman killed Zod before. In the original Superman 2. He killed Zod. He picked up Zod. It was a little bit out of character, but it wasn't like he went out to kill him. Remember, I told you the original Man of Steel was changed. The original Man of Steel was coming out like, wow. It was in 2007. I told you that. We did a video live. And I told you the person neck that Superman was going to crack was his own son. Remember, he had a son in Superman Returns. Superboy. And in that movie, he was going to be fighting Brainiac. Brainiac was going to be on that planet that Superman lifted up off Earth and threw into space. Brainiac saw that it was another Krypton. So he went there looking for more Kryptonians. He finds out Brainiac is the one that's responsible for Krypton blowing up in the first place. But Brainiac manipulates Superman into believing he's another Krypton. That he's this lost, distant person from Krypton, and he comes down there and he's convincing Superman, like, why are we helping these people? Like, we work for them. Like, we're too powerful. Why we should be ruling this world. What are we doing? So Superman's like, no, we use our power to protect people, and this is what's happening. So when Superman was gone, Brainiac took over. He wasn't helping nobody until he felt like it, and he was ruling everything. So when Superman came back from space, because he went to go investigate to see if there was any more Kryptonians still alive in the universe, he came back to discover what had happened. And when he came back, and that's why he wears the gray Superman suit. The gray Superman suits let him travel further out into space because he needs the sun. It holds the sun, the power of the sun. It's like basically a long distance solar system. I mean, solar power. That's why he wears the gray outfit. And you saw it on the deleted scenes of Superman Returns. And you see it for a little bit, when he returned back to Earth, he came back in an outfit. In a spaceship that was similar to the one he came home in. Made of the crystals for him to travel. I'm hearing they're going to do a Superman movie by itself. And because everybody say they should do Justice League too. I'm like, well, it's set up for it. But they want to do Wonder Woman too. And that's because Wonder Woman is their moneymaker. And they was like, look, next to Batman, it's Wonder Woman, and that's it. Wonder Woman took off, and I'm like, why do you think that Justice League didn't succeed if people liked Wonder Woman so much? I was like, well, they misused the purpose. They definitely misused the purpose. What worked for Wonder Woman was Christopher Pine. Christopher Pine was so good in the doggone movie that his death actually hurt. It was necessary, and it was great for the film, but it's going to suck that he's not there for the next two movies, because he sold a lot of that movie. He was great in that film. He really brought it out. And without him, that regular character that can carry those moments, it's really a colluded bunch of nothing. And Wonder Woman, she was just basically there for her abilities. Yeah, it had its moments. See, that's the thing. Everybody had a moment in Justice League. Like, you have the Wonder Woman scene in the beginning. You have the scene out there. It has some funny moments with the Flash. I felt this movie was more grounded towards the Flash in his moments more than anything, but they kind of glossed over a lot of stuff. Star Labs and how he's gotten the job at Star Labs and everything. I thought it was a decent movie. It wasn't outstanding, but it was very flawed. It had a lot of flaws in it. We don't need Man of Steel 2. We just need this new Superman to come out. And the new Superman, I think they're going to have him fight Darkseid. If they ever do that. That's the only way to make a Superman movie work. Superman is too powerful to be fighting Lex Luthor by himself. So I'm thinking right now they're going into the realm of, if they do continue the Justice League, they're going to do the Justice League versus the Injustice League. So that's the best way they can go. That's the only way you could get your fans back. And in this Justice League movie, they cut out the scene how he was broken out of jail. Deathstroke gets him out of jail and breaks him out. They cut that scene out of Justice League, and we just see the trailer piece where they actually meet him in the water. It all depends on what Suicide Squad does. Jared Leto has another appearance as the Joker, and that's in Suicide Squad 2. Now they're talking about the new Joker that's taking his place for the independent Joker film that DC wants to do individually from everything and start a whole series called The Joker with Joaquin Phoenix playing the Joker. And they're going to do it like how they did Batman and make it more serious. Because you don't get an actor like him and make it goofy. So, my opinion of who wins.
Relation between generosity and guilt.
Fought for us, protected us, risked your lives.
Batman, Saga, or Captain America, all together.
Would prefer the word vigilantes.
Who wins?
What would you use, Mr. Secretary?
How about dangerous? What would you call a group of U.S.-based, enhanced individuals who routinely ignore sovereign borders and inflict their will wherever they choose, and who, frankly, seem unconcerned about what they leave behind? New York.
I gotta pick a winner. I gotta pick a winner here. I gotta pick a winner. And as much as I love the Christopher Nolan, the Batman saga, I love the writing, the sound, the storyline, and as much as I love Captain America's, the grit, and I think what people get confused with them is Captain America is just, he represents the country, man. You know, he represents the weak, the bullied. He didn't grow up rich. He don't have all the tech access that Batman has. He didn't have all those things. You know, Captain America is truly America's hero, man. He's one of us. And I'm proud to wear the Captain America shirt. So, I took the first Captain America movie over Dark Knight, I believe. Then I took the over the Batman Begins. I took the Dark Knight Rises over Winter Soldier. So I have it 1-1. Then you have Bane in all his glory. Can't forget Bane. Then you got Civil War. And it's kind of an unfair battle, because Civil War is so amazing. Y'all gotta agree. Civil War is amazing. It is truly that film of films. You're dealing with a struggle. You got Zemo in there. You got all those other characters. And I'm curious to know, what are y'all decisions? You guys have seen The Dark Knight Rises. You guys have seen Civil War. You guys, just based off those two movies, let's say it's tied right now and it's coming down to those two. Where are you headed right now with your decision? If it came down to these two movies at the finish line, at the stretch, and you gotta pick one, who are you going with? Very curious here. Who are you rolling with? Who are you with? Who are you with? Uh-oh. Domo is going with the Captain American trilogy? He said I'm rolling with Filthy Frank Filthy style. Captain America was a skinny kid who came from nothing, and they made him into a super soldier. But they didn't make Cap's hard. Cap keeps fighting back, no matter what.
Believe me, this is the middle ground.
Captain America is more interesting. Now that's something I haven't heard before.
Experience.
Then you gotta see.
There were a lot more action in this film. introduction of the Black Panther. How can I go against that? Woo! Those claws would have went right through that bar he put up. Now, when it comes to my selection, the winner is, as great as Civil War is, it's always ooh, ooh, ha ha, ha ha, ooh, ooh, ha ha, ha. The Batman Saga, the Dark Knight Saga. Nobody's going to beat Gotham. The Dark Knight of Gotham. One, because he did it himself. It wasn't Batman and a whole host of other people. It's the Dark Knight series all the way. There is no better trilogy than this. It's hands down. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Nothing is as gritty. Nothing is as real. Nothing beats the Dark Knight. I'm sorry. It cannot be done. You are not beating the Dark Knight. Will Black Panther be able to contend? Well, they need 2 more movies, but right now, the title is belonging to the Dark Knight.